What's up, YouTube? So lately I've been seeing a lot more videos regarding millennials in the motorcycle industry and how people are saying that the motorcycle industry is dying off because these kids don't want to go out and ride or don't want to go out and do anything. They just want to sit as couch potatoes and play video games and stuff like that, or they're blaming the parents how they never got them exposed to the outdoors enough as children, or yada 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 yada. And I just wanted to share my opinion on this because technically I'm classed as a millennial. I was born in 1984. That puts me at 33 years old, for any of you guys that want to know. I'm not an old fuck, but I'm not a young buck either. Still fairly young, I like to think. But I'm classed as millennial, and even though I think from 1990 and up should be classed as a millennial, technically they've labeled me as a millennial too, even though this basically doesn't, what a millennial is doesn't describe anything about me. I'm seeing so many YouTube videos and blogs talking about how millennials are killing the motorcycle industry, and I have something to say about that. Personally, what I think is wrong with millennials and why they are not buying motorcycles is because most of them just don't have the money. That is really what I think it comes down to. Money. Money is king.
I need money.
And as much as I would love to dive in and join the millennial bashers, I just can't. I see so many kids and young people, mid-20s, that just absolutely love motorcycles. I see constant questions about how much people are paying for insurance. They're looking at getting their license. They just got their license. They want to know about insurance. Should they take the course? How much the bike costs? How they would love to get a bike, but their parents just won't let them. But it is not like it used to be. Things are much more restricted now. Before, when we were kids, when our parents were kids, you could just hop on a little dirt bike, ride wherever. Not that it was exactly legal, just no one gave a fuck. Nowadays, everyone is a tight ass, laws are stricter, and everyone cares.
Mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch. Little stupid bitch. Little dumb teaching bitch.
What I see in this generation isn't a lack of enthusiasm for letting loose and having a good time. They are now faced with extremely high costs, from food to insurance. Everything just costs so much more in general. Things we take for granted. I'm not saying we don't feel the pain of high costs, but most of us have established ourselves with a decent job as we got older and forget what it's like to have a shit job right out of high school and student loans piling up. Then add the price of what a motorcycle costs nowadays for young riders. It has them thinking, why ride around on a vehicle that's 40 times more likely to get myself killed while paying high insurance premium, which can be the same price as a car payment would cost. To them, it just doesn't make sense, and let's be honest, does it? Now I can hear those gears turning in your heads right now thinking, this guy's a fucking loser. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's the millennials. But I don't blame the millennials. Do you know who I blame? Truthfully, I blame the motorcycle industry and mostly insurance. I think greed is the number one factor. Because it is hard to make a living nowadays and have an abundance of toys, especially when you're starting out a younger family. And first year and second year riders nowadays, it's a lot harder and a lot more expensive than it was 10, 15 years ago. So that's who I blame. It would not be that difficult for the motorcycle industry to create better bikes, but price them a little bit lower. Like, you could say a Honda Grom. Honda Grom's the worst first year rider's bike ever. And that's a completely different story that this video is not about. But just price them a little bit, a couple $1,000s cheaper would be a huge difference, because you can take a look at Harley and they're really expensive. That's why they're losing sales. They're not getting new sales, and new riders are definitely not going to be buying their bikes. Right? So I think it's the motorcycle industry is partially to blame for their own sales drops. The insurance companies, it's astronomically high, depending where you live, for first-year riders. It adds up. You talk about, tires and all that stuff. These kids gotta make ends meet. It's hard to make a living when you're that young. Sometimes you're in debt with loans up to your eyeballs. You have to think about it. Think about it from that perspective. Right? Some of us have had our license for a few years now. Some decades. So obviously the insurance rates are going to be cheaper. So think about it. But I just want you guys to remember, just like I said at the beginning of the video, opinions are like assholes, and everybody has one. This is only my opinion. You can fucking take it with a grain of salt. You could live like it's the fucking word of God. What you do with it, my opinion, doesn't matter. As long as you hear it and make your own opinion. That's what matters. Think for yourselves, guys. Think for yourselves. Don't follow the crowd. Think outside the box. And stop blaming people. Peace, guys.